Well, happy Monday, President's Day weekend. I have a long weekend. I have a 2-day weekend for once. Well, most of you say I get a 2-day weekend every weekend. Well, as you know, I work Saturdays, so I only normally get a 1-day weekend. I've got a 2-day weekend with Monday holiday for me today, so trying to get a few things done. We are just hanging out with family, but also doing some extra cleaning, stripping down the beds, washing those up, things like that. So spent some time in the grow room, but now I've got another issue. So let's take a look here in the freezers, because that's where the issue is. Empty. That's the issue. So I shut that back up. So Saturdays, when I'm working my part-time job, I normally take sandwiches along, and I normally make my sandwich meat ahead of time and have it individually wrapped in the freezer with how much I need for each shift. But as you can see, I am out. I've got no sandwich meat left, so need to do something about it. So what are we gonna do? So here is the solution. I picked up some boneless pork loins. They were on sale. They had a 2-day sale. $1.48 a pound. So I'm gonna be taking those out, and we're gonna trim them up and get them on the grill here in a bit. So alright, so back out in the garage now. So this is a big green egg. So Samantha and I had gotten this many years ago, before kids, but we did kind of plan ahead. We got a bigger one than what we really needed at the time, because we figured it was going to last for quite a while. So got a table for it. Also have a DigiQ controller for temperature controller for it, which basically just runs that little fan right there. There's an air inlet down there, and then up through the charcoal, and there's a vent out the top when the dome is closed. So I kind of prepped this ahead of time last night. I've got the electric starter in it. I'm about to plug that in to start heating up the natural lump charcoal to get this going. I do have apple wood chips in the house soaking, so be putting those on for some smoke. Now this is sitting in the garage. No, I'm not moving this out. I do have a vent hood that's mounted above. This little bracket here is for that DigiQ temperature controller. But I have this vent hood that I had picked up. It's a professional vent hood, and then I've got it piped out on the top and out the side wall of the garage. So that's what I'm up to. We're gonna get the grill started, and then I'll head back in the house and start trimming up those pork loins. Alright, so I got the grill running out there, and got the DigiQ controller keeping track of the temperature and warming it up. So I came in to start trimming out these pork loins. So I've got here my bowl of applewood chips. These I started soaking last night, so they're good and moist. I'll take those out later when I get closer to putting the meat on and dump the excess water out, sprinkle those over. I'll show you that when we get out there. So for now, I'm going to set that aside. I've got the first pork loin here on the cutting board. I just simply took and put this in the sink, in a clean sink, cut the plastic wrapper open, kind of got any of the excess juices off of it. And then transfer it over here to the counter. So from here, I'm just going to start trimming off all of the excess fat, and just start pulling all this off. Now I probably tend to trim these out a little more than a lot of people maybe. I don't know. I pretty much pull all of the fat and connective tissues off and pretty much just leave the meat. So if I get to a point, I kind of assess the loin as it goes, and if there's one end that a lot of the fat and connective tissues start running down in the middle of it, sometimes that makes a better roast than it does anything else. So then I'll just cut that off and use it as a roast, and not use it for the sandwich meat. I did get 3 loins. I'm basically hoping in the end to have 2 loins worth of sandwich meat. If I get a little bit more than that, that's fine, but that's kind of my goal. These loins are, I think they're about 9 to 10 pounds a piece. So, you know, if I end up then with roughly 20 pounds of sandwich meat in the end, that's kind of what I'm looking for. So. Alright, so I don't know how well you're going to see this, but I've pretty much got it trimmed up down to about this point here. Now, starting to look at this end here, you can kind of see the fat vein running right through the middle of the loin. This over here is very, very soft, tender meat. This side's more firm. So this is at the starting to get to the point here where this down here is not going to slice very nice into sandwich meat, and you're going to have that fatty vein run through it. So I'll probably trim it up down a little bit more, but I'm thinking probably right about, well, might as well just cut it. Right about there is where I'm going to stop. So here again, you can see this fat vein run through here, and it's all the way down through. So that's that chunk I'm going to leave for a nice roast, and Samantha can cook that up later. I'll put that in a Ziploc bag and throw it in the freezer. So we'll set that aside. We're still getting probably about, I'd say, 3/4 of this loin into sandwich meat. So I'm going to finish trimming out just this little bit here, and then this one I think will be done. All right, that looks good. I think I'll call that done. There's still bits and pieces of connective tissue on here. There's a little bit of fat on here, but there's not a lot. A little bit of marbling down here, but for the most part, it's pretty clean. Now I've done this several times. This is not the first time I've done this. Won't be the last. A couple other things you can do with these as well. I'm not doing it today, but you could trim out a loin like this and just cut boneless pork chops out of it, and put them in the freezer, and pull them out when you need boneless pork chops. Again, roasts, typically, like I was showing you with this roast. What I normally do is I'll buy a loin like this, and then I'll take the ends off that are like this and use it as a roast. And then this part of the loin, I will take and either cut it into chops, make sandwich meat out of it, different things like that. So that's typically what I do with this. $1.48 a pound is what I paid for these. Typically they're in the neighborhood of $2.50 a pound. I've seen them down as low as about $1.25 a pound. So it's a good time to buy it. Besides my experience doing this at home, in college I worked in a meat department in a grocery store, so I was doing several things like this. This is basically almost identically to what the boneless pork chops are in the grocery store. Maybe they're not trimmed out as much as this, but they are out of a pork loin and then sliced. So if you know how to do it yourself, and you can get them on sale like this much cheaper. But anyways, so from here, I've got this, I don't know what it is, close to 2 foot long piece of loin here that's all trimmed out. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it and cut it in half. I find that works better for me on the grill. So they're not perfect. This one's a little shorter. That doesn't matter. So from here, I'm going to set these aside onto a pan. I'm going to get the other 3 loins all trimmed, or I'm sorry, the other 2 loins, 3 total, all trimmed up and ready. I'll probably step out and take a look at the grill, see how that's going. But once I get them all trimmed up and ready to start seasoning them, I'll check back in with you, and we'll go from there. So we'll see you in a bit. Alright, so I got all the pork loins trimmed out. I've got 6 nice pieces of boneless pork loin here. 2 of them here. I've got the other 4 on a tray. So now it's time to start seasoning these up. So Here's what I use. Regular classic yellow mustard. This is basically just a binding agent to keep the seasoning on the pork loin. From there, I use Bad Byron's Butt Rub. So I've got this big container that I had purchased, I think off of Amazon. So basically what I'll do from here, I'm going to try to do this basically one-handed, one hand applying and one hand getting all messy. So going to be very generous and apply mustard and just rub it in. I want to coat the whole loin, all sides, top, bottom, everything. And again, the mustard's pretty much just a binding agent. It does give it a little bit of flavor, but mostly it's binder. Alright, I got that one done. Samantha's over here watching me, giving me funny faces.
This is not the allergy-friendly version.
No, this is definitely not an allergy-friendly version recipe. We keep multiple. We have 3 different freezers out in the garage. The empty one that I showed you earlier is mine, and then we've got 2 others that we are for the entire family, basically. And even in the house, we've got 2 refrigerators here in the kitchen, one for myself and one for Samantha and the kids. So this is definitely not allergy friendly. So all right, so now that I've got the mustard on, I'm just going to sprinkle this on all sides. Get it nice and coated. Just like so. Alright, and we'll do the other one as well. Violet is squeaking away with one of her toys.
She just wants somebody to play.
The life of kids and dogs. So there we go. We've got that one all coated as well. So I'm going to pull a couple other ones off of the tray. And I'll set these over. I've got basically just a big cookie sheet that I have them on right now.
From Sam's Club.
Yeah, Sam's Club is where we got them. Great big old cookie sheets. They've got like a 1-inch lip on the edge. They are aluminum, I do believe. Mm-hmm. So this will just be now repeat process to get all 6 of these loins all coated, both with mustard and with the seasoning. So
the further along you go, you don't need as much seasoning because you pick some up off the cutting
yeah,
board.
yeah, it's constantly being mixed in with the just what's on my hand and what's off of the cutting board. It gets mixed in with the mustard as well. All right, there we go. All 6 pieces done, and ready to go out to the grill. So I've got them over here on the tray, all 6 pieces done and ready to go out to the grill. So now I'm going to take and clean up my mess, and then go out and finish up getting the grill ready. So we'll move out there in a minute.